Morning, everybody. Getting myself just a little more centered here on my desk so I can see all the questions and everything. Okay, here we go. All right, let me slide that over. Got multiple screens, phones going on, etc., etc. Welcome to the Ask Me Anything. It is Thursday, July 14th, 2021. Hope everybody's doing well. And let's see here. I've got an ambitious schedule today. I've got usually we handle 2 or 3 questions. I've got about 7 or 8 that I'm going to try to make it through, but I'm going to try to make it through in our normal 30 to 40 minutes. So that means, and I think I can do it without shortchanging anything. I think they just lined up this way. So we'll see. Here we go. Could be setting a new PR or PB. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We've got a bunch of good questions, not only from the private Facebook group for Linchpin, but I'm a slow learner. I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out. But starting a few weeks ago, I started posting also in the Linchpin squad on the BTWB app. Like, hey, if you've got questions, post them here in the squads feature, and we'll upvote them, etc. And every week they've been showing up more and more. Some great questions this week came out of the BTWB squad. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So first one, this is from CM, asking about any thoughts doing a blackout as discussed on the recent Varied Not Random episode with Adrian Bosman. Could be fun waiting to see what's in store for us in the morning. So if you're unfamiliar with that, on a recent Varied Not Random, Adrian and I discussed, I think the topic of that podcast was how to get members to show up for unpopular workouts or something like that. And ideally, there's, you can eventually get people to show up, but this rare technique that does exist for clients that were cherry picking workouts was that some affiliates would just basically do a blackout. They would not post what the workout was the next day at all, and then people would show up, walk into the gym having no darn idea what it was going to be until they actually showed up. And there was some agreement for, if you're in a previous class, don't let the cat out of the bag to the incoming class as to what the workout is, and then you have to do whatever that thing was that maybe you've been avoiding. And everyone avoids something different, right? Maybe you hate heavy days, so you avoid those. Maybe you hate 5K days, you avoid those. Maybe you hate Cindy, whatever it happens to be. Well, then you show up and, you're there. You got to do it. So the question was, could we do something like that for Linchpin? Short answer, no, we will not be doing that. There's just too many people that need to know the workouts to plan their week, what's going on with work, kids, schedule, etc. That for most people, information is a good thing, and this was a very rare technique needed in very odd situations, etc., etc. And so it's not something commonplace. However, we live in a wonderful world with freedom where you're free to do things. So if you personally want to give yourself a blackout day once a week or a blackout week, all you need to do is not look at the workout. It actually could be very good for the mind, right? Don't go on Instagram that day. Every day I post the workout for the next day at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So don't look at the CrossFit Linchpin Instagram account. Don't peruse the private Facebook group to see what the workout is. Don't go to CrossFitLinchpin.com to click on the workout of the day. And you could do your own individual blackout if you so desired at any time that you wanted to. And then you could just walk into your garage, tap on your phone and go, oh, that's what I'm doing today. Darn it, now I'm committed, and get after it. So you could definitely do that if you want. So good question. Next most upvoted question, or one of them, is from Patrick S. As I always say, not me, a different Patrick S. And basically the question is about cherry picking or doing workouts from various places. Will people if people pick workouts from various programs or sites, will they still make progress with their fitness? Because, you could say, well, at least they're still not working out. They do something that catches their eye here, something else catches their eye there. They're doing a hodgepodge on any given day or any given week. Is that good, bad, or indifferent, right? Will it slow down their progress, or will they still make progress? So there's a couple different facets to this, right? I mean, if you can just go in a very simple black-white binary thing, if someone's going to do that or not work out at all, that's the easiest question in the world. I would much rather have you do a hodgepodge mismatch of things than live a sedentary lifestyle not pursuing functional movements or intensity. So that's that. But that's not the world that most of us live in or have to live in. So if we're talking about what works the best, the short answer is following intelligently, thoughtfully designed programming in a dedicated and consistent manner from the athlete will yield the greatest success. Probably not shocking to most people. That should be somewhat self-evident, and that general philosophy applies to other pursuits in life outside of fitness, meaning following something thoughtfully designed, intelligently laid out, and purposeful versus a little bit of this, a little bit of that, hope for the best. Going to learn a second language? You don't want to become bilingual? Going to learn Spanish? That's your new thing? Well, you could follow a professional, vetted, time-tested language learning program that will get you to the finish line, or you could deviate from that and do random things and hope for the best. I don't think you'll obtain fluency doing the latter. I think the former would treat you better. However, you could probably still piece together some Spanish, right? Just doing a hodgepodge, but I think if you went head-to-head with the person doing the dedicated, vetted professional program, it wouldn't even be a close comparison. Or same deal with, finances. You could seek out a competent financial planner who lays out a logical path to achieve your goals, increase your net worth, decrease your debt, increase your assets, decrease your liabilities. Or you could just do several random things that you saw on Instagram and hope for the best. Probably not going to work out so well. And like so many other pursuits in life, fitness kind of falls in line with those things of this is just the way that life works. And, anecdotally, although if you get enough anecdotal stories, then does it start to drift from anecdotal to factual? It's a different question. But, there's just countless stories shared in the Linchpin private group that are basically a living diary of exactly this question of how many members have we had that have told their stories of, in their previous fitness lives, program hopping, doing random workouts that caught their eye, and most of them plateaued, got burned out, got injured, lost motivation, were overtrained, and then for whatever reason, luckily, decided to fully dedicate themselves, join Linchpin, the sun came out again. Body feels better, mind feels better, fitness improves, mood's better. So, yeah, that's, again, if your only two options are doing a hodgepodge or doing nothing, enjoy the hodgepodge. But luckily, we've got choices. This next question might shock some people. Okay, this was the most upvoted question, by the way. I don't know why I put it third. It's the most upvoted one. It's from Philip I. And Philip says, if you had only one day with the capacity and ability of a podium-level CrossFit Games athlete, what workout or workouts would you do and why? So I've got this for only one blessed day. Games podium level capacity. I wake up in the morning, I just feel it pulsing through my body. What am I going to do? I think my answer is going to be unsatisfying, but I'm sticking to my track in life, which is not lying to everybody. So I'm not going to lie to you. Here's my truthful answer. I would do whatever the workout that day was. That's it. If it was EMOM 30 minutes, one power clean, I'd do that. If it was Cindy, I'd do that. It's 6 by 400 meter repeats, I'd do that. If it was Grace, I'd do that. If it was a rest day, here's the shocking thing, right? If it was a rest day, I wouldn't work out at all. I would enjoy my rest day. I'm sure that people think that I'm crazy when I say that. I promise you I'm not lying, and I would pass a polygraph if you hooked me up to that. Because, I don't know, hey, to each their own. To each their own. It's the most upvoted question, so it's obviously popular. But, I don't know. It's like, I can already do Helen, and then I guess on that day would just be faster. It's still Helen. I can squat and deadlift and snatch. There'd just be more weight on the bar that day, I guess. That's fine. Okay. It doesn't, I would just do whatever the workout of the day that is that day. I asked my wife, who knows that I'm crazy, and I said, am I crazy? I'd do whatever the workout is, and if it was a rest day, I wouldn't even work out. I'd just be out in the driveway playing basketball with the kids. And I said, of course, she did go to the games in 13 and 14, but, it was a while ago. We're in different phases of her life. And I said, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow, games level capacity, podium capacity and whatnot? And she's like, well, I guess if I had the physique as well, she's like, I don't think I'd work out. I'd just put on shorts and a sport bra and just probably pedal my bike around the neighborhood. Which I thought was a phenomenal answer. So that's that. Here's an interesting question, and again, I'd be curious just to hear what the poll from everyone is. Now, I know I'm talking to people who are obviously very into fitness, as am I. What about, Philip, I'll throw this question back to you or some other folks. What if I gave you this proposition, a would you rather? Would you rather have games podium level capacity, for the rest of your life? I guess you have to maintain it, okay? Whatever that means, but you've got it. You just gotta maintain it. And you can speak one language. Or would you rather have your current level of fitness and be fluent in 3 languages? Maybe it's just me because I'm a closet nerd. To me, that would be the easiest decision in the world. I would happily take my current level of fitness for the rest of my life, even if I knew I could never improve it. If I woke up tomorrow morning and I was fluent in 3 languages of my choice, that would be a superpower as far as I'm concerned. And now, I know, since we are a global community and Americans are just wildly ignorant when it comes to other languages, that there's probably a lot of people watching this from overseas, in Europe or something, that speak 2 to 3 languages, and they're like, doesn't everybody speak 2 to 3 languages? Sadly, no. Sadly, no, we don't. I don't want to get off on a rabbit hole because I'm trying to cover a lot of ground here, but that was always something I was so impressed by back in the days when I was, traveling the world, doing level 1 seminars, all 4 corners of the planet. And then we had some folks on staff from Europe, and I'd be over with the Euro crew. And there's just such a mixture of languages over there, and we had multiple people on staff that we might be walking around, going to dinner, and like this same individual would just, if needed, speaking French to this person, speaking English with me, walk into this shop right here, speak Spanish with that person, walk over here, there's a bit of German, they're like, sorry, I can get by with a bit of whatever, but it's rusty. I'm like, this is like 5 languages we're talking about. It's more impressive to me than a sub-3 Fran. That's so fantastic. So anyway, sorry, that was a tangent. All right, pushing through, here we go. Next question, this is from the Squads feature on the BTWB app. This is from Wild E. And Wild says, how to find motivation to work out when you have a difficult time working out and or life in general, work out alone, etc. Maybe some of your friends aren't into fitness, etc., need a mindset switch. We've got you covered. First of all, the fact that your first name is Wild is phenomenal. So Wild, we've got you covered. We actually did a podcast on this recently, last week, July 7th, on that AMA. Linchpin Conversations number 281. One of the topics covered was motivation while working out alone. So go ahead back and search on YouTube or on through podcasts, Linchpin Conversations number 281, and you'll be good to go. Next one is from Justin K., also from the BTWB Squads feature. Justin says, my gym doesn't have the space for extended runs like workouts require. Does running on a treadmill count in terms of similar intensity? Yes. So short answer to that is yes. If you are, this could be one of those things that I think people get a bit too wrapped around the axle for, or can maybe be a bit too hard on themselves, because is running on a treadmill exactly the same as running outside? No, certainly not. Just like an assault bike isn't exactly the same as an echo bike, but it's close enough for government work. Same thing here. Would I love to have you outside actually running on planet Earth with some ups and some downs and some atmospheric changes and some temperature and a little bit of wind and having to actually propel yourself forward through locomotion? Absolutely I would. That's not possible, and you've got to do maybe yesterday's workout, the 1200 meter, the 800 meter, and the 400 meter on a treadmill at whatever pace you feel just appropriately challenging. You're going to be just fine. Not my number one choice, but you're going to be absolutely just fine. And I would say, if the treadmill is perfectly set, that it's beautifully leveled out, having it on just a slight incline, not a crazy incline, but slight, like a 2 or 3, that's all. Just so it's, just get a little bit of spice in there, you'll be fine. But not a big incline, because that's going to make it way too hard. You still want to be able to keep your speed up. Okay, great question though. All right, next one is from MaskumM. And Maskum's question, if I can't work out 5 days a week and fully follow the program, should I just do the workout on the day that I can, or should I go back and do the ones that I missed? For example, if I couldn't work out Monday and Tuesday, but I can work out Thursday and Friday, what should I do? Okay, good question. So there's a couple ways to look at this, and we've kind of touched on this before, but let's say you can only do 3 workouts a week. Well, then what might work out really well for you is not doing the current week that we are in. If you always stay 1 week behind, because if you're always 1 week behind, then what that'll give you the ability to do is look backwards, see what those 5 workouts were, and then pick the 3 that you want and fit them into the upcoming week that you have in your life, with your schedule, your hecticness, your whatever. And doing that might allow you to, looking at the 5 workouts last week, pick 3 that have some nice variance and cover some different things, so that you can make the best selection possible to ideally maintain and improve your GPP, your general physical preparedness, your fitness. So if you only have 3 days a week to work out, I would recommend make one of them a heavy day. Whatever the heavy day is that week or the previous week, like I'm saying, pick that. Make that one of your selection. And then if that leaves you with 2 other workouts, in an ideal world, then I would say pick one workout that puts a huge smile on your face because you just love it. It's a wheelhouse workout. This is why you just adore going into your garage and just the sun shines in your life. And the other workout, not one that makes you sad and just weep tears into your hands, but pick one that has some movements, or there's something about it that challenges your areas of deficiencies, gets you a bit outside your comfort zone. Maybe you have to scale it or modify it a bit because of, it's got handstand walking in it, and you don't have handstand walking yet, so you're going to have to do some sort of a practice or shoulder taps or pikes around the box or something. Like, so there's something in that workout that's a bit outside your comfort zone, and that's going to really push some adaptation for you, both physically and mentally, with your central nervous system. That's what I would do. So if you've only got 3, one heavy, one wheelhouse, and then one that pushes you outside a bit. And if we could have everything that we wanted, then when you chose those 2 non-heavy day workouts, ideally you would do it with a bit of an eye for just some of the other factors that would keep you on a well-rounded path with some beautiful variance. You would take a look at the time domains of the workouts, maybe get a bit of variance there. You would take a look at what elements were weightlifting, monostructural, or gymnastics to make sure that they're kind of covered there. Because you could cherry pick 3 workouts and you're still, working out, doing functional movements, which is great, but you're neglecting some areas that would really help you. So, what happens if you select the 3 workouts that week? One of them's a heavy lift day, one of them is DT, and the other one is barbell intensive as well. Yeah, you got in 3 days a week, that's fantastic, but every single day was a weightlifting day, so to speak, whether one was mixed modality, one was moderate loading, one was a heavy day, but you very intentionally don't do the 6x400 meter repeats day, or you don't like body weight movements, so you avoid the burpee day, or you avoid Cindy. So ideally, you would select those other 2 non-heavy day movements and still make the best decisions possible to, there's a deer running across my front yard. Make the best decisions possible to propel your fitness forward and keep you well-rounded, because that will serve you the best. Let's see. And you mentioned in your question, can't work out Monday, Tuesday. Maybe I can Thursday, Friday. Thursday is traditionally a rest day, but it's totally good to go if your life dictates that you need to push around the schedule a little bit, and maybe Thursdays are just a great day for you to work out. And so you can work out Monday and Tuesday. Wednesdays are terrible for you. You're not going to be able to do that. Take your rest day on Wednesday. That's fine. And then maybe you do whatever Wednesday's workout was, and you move it to Thursday. And you work out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, there's a second deer running across my front yard. And so you absolutely can do that to meet your needs and whatnot. As a matter of fact, we're taking off this weekend, just driving like 2 hours away to link up with some friends that have a house in some place that's a bit more sunny than where we live. And so we're going to just do this couple-hour drive this weekend. And so Emily, my wife, is kind of figuring that on Saturday it's going to be tough for her to get in a workout. And so today, as we do this video, is Thursday, traditionally a rest day. So what she's planning on doing is she's going to do tomorrow's workout, Friday's workout, today, and then she's going to do Saturday's workout on Friday. And so she's going to cram all the workouts into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and she's going to take the weekend off so that she can fully decompress, relax, and all that stuff. So that's going to be just fine too. It's not something that happens every week. Also, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I like to work out on the days I'm supposed to work out. And so I might just throw a set of dumbbells in the back of my truck, take the dumbbells there, and then sneak away sometime on Saturday. I haven't looked ahead to see what Saturday's workout is, but just knock it out with the dumbbells. That might be what I do. Okay, good question. 2 more questions. We're actually staying on track for the aggressive question load that I tried to knock out. We're doing well. Brad R. Brad, let's see. Now, this kind of plays off the last question that we just asked. Is it better to work out 2 or 3 days a week at high intensity, or 4 to 5 days a week at moderate intensity? So, 2 to 3 at high intensity, or 4 to 5 at moderate intensity? I really rolled this one around in my head for a while, and there's a couple different ways we could attack it, but here's what I kind of landed on. If it's just that simple, right? I would rather have you give me 4 to 5 workouts a week at, let's say, 70% intensity, then you're only working out twice a week, but it's at 100%. I think what you would get in working out 4 to 5 times a week at 70% versus only 2 times at 100% would, in the long run, serve you much better. You're going to get really darn fit at 70%. Okay, are you leaving a little bit, maybe, are you leaving a little bit of gains every now and then that you could garner with a bit more push? Sure. but 70% is going to get you to the finish line, and you're going to be an animal. And here's the other critical thing, is if somebody's only working out twice a week, 100% intensity, and somebody else is working out 5 times a week at 70% intensity, well, over the course of those 5 workouts, if we now get back to variance, I'm going to be able to expose that athlete to so many more different time domains, movements, loadings, rep ranges, that in and of itself will be a huge benefit, a tremendous benefit. So that's where my answer is going to lie on that particular question. But here's the other one. I mean, since you asked this question, and if it's for yourself, you're laying out 2 different things. One's 2 days a week and one's 5 days a week. So maybe you do have the option to work out 5 days a week, but what you're telling me is, I can't bring 100% intensity 5 days a week. That crushes me. I can only do that twice a week. Or I can work out 4 to 5 days a week at moderate intensity. So what I would say is, if that is also intertwined in there, then you're absolutely right. Even if you can work out 4 to 5 days a week, I don't want you to do every one of those days at high intensity. I don't want you to work out 100% every single time that you walk into the gym. Absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, we've done, if you haven't seen them, go back, do a little search on Google or YouTube or something. We've done videos on modulating intensity and how this is very much the case. And every Friday, I film a video entitled Modulating Intensity, where I look to the upcoming week's workouts and I lay out what they are, and I give my plan on what days I think I'm going to hit them with high intensity, and what days will be moderate intensity, and what days will be not for time, etc. And I'm very vocal about that, and over the course of 5 days of training, I usually only try to stomp the gas on 2 out of the 5 workouts. So that's only 40% of the week's workouts I try to do at high intensity. The other 3 workouts, 60%, 3 out of 5, I do at moderate intensity, and there could be a low intensity day in there. And that allows me to keep training week after week and have everything be great. If I tried to go high intensity 5 days a week, that would not be sustainable. I would crash and burn. My joints would feel terrible. I would plateau, or I would even have retrograde performance. And I think most people would fall into that same category. So I post that video on modulating intensity every Friday in the private Facebook group, and then I also post the link to it in the BTWB Linchpin squad. So make sure you're on the lookout for that on Fridays, and hopefully that treats you well. Final question. We've somehow done it. We've pulled it off. Final question. This is from Michael W. Michael says, let's see here. I'm currently employed as a deputy sheriff and work 12-hour night shifts, and it can be tough to squeeze a session in. What are your thoughts on working out between 12-hour shifts with minimal sleep? Is it more important to rest or push myself and work out? Thanks for reading in advance. Love the programming. Okay, so there could be some people who just heard that question and then immediately leapt to, well, you can't work out on no sleep. That's horrible, borderline negligent, and you're going to be overtrained, and you're going to be tired and fatigued, and you're not going to recover, and so absolutely the sleep should reign supreme. Probably some diehards that immediately felt the other way. I think there's a bit to unpack with this one, right? So we could probably agree that both are critical. Rest is critical and fitness is critical, especially in Michael's occupation. He's a first responder. Okay, like physical fitness capacity in being ready is mission critical. So now we're in a bit of a conundrum, right? Because when are you going to work out? It doesn't have a lot of sleep. So you're going to say, hey, you know what? Just don't work out. It's okay. Be a first responder that never works out and just be in terrible shape. Be a liability to yourself. Be a liability to your partner. Be a liability to the local municipality because you're not physically capable to respond. Obviously, that's not an option, right? And so we have to find a way for Michael, for the life that he's currently living and the schedule that he currently has, to get fitness in there as well. And here's what everyone has to realize. It's not going to be ideal. There's going to be some sort of bargain that we have to make. There's going to be some sort of a compromise. Because what would be the ideal option? The ideal option would be Michael doesn't have to work nights because people are cool to each other 24 hours a day and never get in dumb situations that have to have the police called. That's not the world that we live in. So Michael has to work nights and has to have a disrupted schedule and has to still somehow work out and be in shape. This is just the reality, the factual data presented to us. Regardless of anyone's feelings on what's proper sleep or improper sleep, this is the factual data. So now what can we do faced with this actual situation? Hopefully a balance can be found. Depending upon how much time you have between shifts, maybe lower the intensity when needed, just being a little bit kind to yourself there, but you're still getting something in and moving the needle forward. Scaling, I would think, would absolutely be your friend as well. I don't know, I have a feeling with Michael that if he and I spoke face to face and he really laid out, because all I have is the sentences presented there. If we really laid out on a piece of paper, what days do you work? What are the actual hours? When is your time off? Etc., then we could probably piece together something that is far more ideal for him given all those details of his situation. But without those, we just have to make some good recommendations. I would also say, when are your off days? Can you potentially, if you're working 12-hour shifts, maybe you work several 12-hour shifts and then you have, a few days off. Maybe your workout schedule would be on the 3 days that you have off, those are always workout days for you. And then during your 3 or 4 12-hour shifts that you work each week, now you only need to find one time to work out during that, or 2 times instead of trying to find it every time. Crunch as many as you can into your off non-work days, and then minimally put them in as needed to your actual on days. But again, it'd be really helpful to know a bit more about your personal schedule. Here's my other recommendation is, we have a tremendous amount of people in a very similar situation to you, be it first responder, military, or just people that have crazy schedules. We've got physicians and everything that are working 12-hour shifts at the hospital, and when are they finding time to work out? So we have people in similar situations to you. Michael, I would recommend that you post this question in the private Facebook group, and I bet you would get a really nice bunch of answers from people who are currently living your life or similar life and have found ways to make it work. And you could also post that as well in the BTWB, the Linchpin squads, and you might find some folks in there as well that could really help you out. So that is that. We did it. I think we did pretty well on that. All right, let's see. Let's do a couple Linchpin shout-outs, and then we will shut her down for the day. All right, the first one is from Andy B. And Andy says, this was from a 7x1 deadlift day. And Andy says, "Welp, before I started CrossFit 6 years ago, I had back issues, and I was afraid to deadlift an empty barbell. I've intentionally gone up with weight very gingerly with deadlifting. Since I've been doing CrossFit Linchpin for the past year plus, I've become more and more comfortable with heavier weights in every lift, including deadlifts. I wasn't planning on joining the PR train this week, but it felt good today and I smashed my previous PR. Thanks, fitness was achieved," and hashtag fitness was achieved. Fantastic. That's what it's all about right there. Pain-free is another thing we say at Linchpin. Pain-free is the way to be. All right. And then this final one from Carl C. And this is just entitled Global Q&A. Okay, I remember this now. So Carl posted, "I know we have an international presence in this group, and so I have a question. I'm taking a work trip from the United States to Stockholm, planning on taking my family. Seems like I'm finding some inconsistent information on traveling through Germany, connecting flights, what's going on with the pandemic, what's happening at airport checks and tests, what are needed, my kids are under 12, are they exempt, are they not exempt, etc., etc. Thanks in advance. And basically, Carl got a bunch of actual, real, useful, actual data from people on the ground in all those various countries about what exactly he would encounter, what the procedures should be, and what is and is not required at this moment. And that, I think, is one of the untold benefits of something like the group that we have created. And you actually have a global community. Imagine that. Just at your fingertips, not just hoping for the best in some Reddit thread, but you've got an actual group of vetted, competent, wonderful people that you've got to know day by day, week by week, year by year in the Linchpin private group from all around the world. And darn near wherever you're going or whatever question you have at your fingertips, you have this amazing resource to just say, hey, does anyone know what's going on with this in France? And somebody goes, oh yeah, I'm in France, here's what's going on with that. Hey, I'm thinking about traveling to Paraguay. What's going on there? Hey, this is what's going on. So, all good. And all of us can probably find something useful in that. So, anyway, that's it. Have a wonderful day. And as I always say, wherever you are around the world, if you're part of the Linchpin community, film where you work out. And then send me that video to info, I-N-F-O, at CrossFitLinchpin.com. And I will take that and upload it to our YouTube channel under the folder or playlist, that's the word I'm looking for, that says Garage Gym Tours, and the world can see where you work out. It doesn't have to be your garage. It could be your backyard, your basement, your apartment, your fire station, whatever it is, we'll make it happen. So that's it. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Enjoy your rest day. I haven't decided whether I'm going to rest or get in something from my upcoming trip and get ahead of the game, but we'll make it work. Talk to everyone later, and keep being kind to each other.